Come on, did you actually think that I would not do a review on LeBron James's Space Jam 2? I just had to do it. I just had to see if the critics' response to this film being that it absolutely sucks is true. Well, it's true. This film absolutely sucks and is pretty much unwatchable, except for one key aspect that I want to talk about. I don't think LeBron James even knows about, or even thought about, or that the left even wants you to know about. We'll talk about that on my next conservative take.
Yikes.
Hello, my name is Kyle, and if you're unfamiliar with the way I do my movie reviews, please click the card above, and that will explain everything that you need to know. Also, if you're curious about spoilers, which I can't imagine why you would be, we will have an indicator of that right here. That way you can, skip over parts that you don't want to know about, specifically as it relates to this film. So for the story or plot of this movie, I'm going to give it a 2, mainly because it is so predictable, and I'll get to the other parts of it later, but the story involves LeBron James playing himself, and he is in a board meeting with his company trying to give his opinion about an AI system played by Don Cheadle, like a Siri for your phone, but this is the AI that's artificially intelligent, and he's upset by LeBron James' comments, and then he wants to make LeBron James pay by kidnapping his family and pitting him in a winner-take-all basketball game. So that's the whole story. And the rest of it pretty much goes downhill from there. But within the first 15 minutes of the film, which you don't even see any of the Bugs Bunny characters until then, it's pretty much unbearable. You've pretty much at that point tuned out. So from there, I was pretty much done. For the emotional impact, I want to talk about this in the conservative take spoiler section. But overall, it's going to be a 2 because, like I said, in the opening credits, I was pretty much tuned out and just wanted to get through this 2-hour movie as quickly as humanly possible. For the intangibles for this film, I'm going to give it a 2, pretty much because I like Bugs Bunny, the cool character. Even though they did him kind of dirty at the end, not really, but they made him a hero. I thought the movie really didn't have anything to offer at all for intangibles. I will say that the film was well done from a production standpoint. I mean, the animation is really great, and CGI is obviously very great. The cuts are fast, and it can give you some dizziness. Seriously, it's really, really fast cut. I mean, it didn't bother me, but for some people, it can be hard to watch, to follow, because it's so fast cut. But those intangibles, if you like that, then it's good. But for me, a 2 was the only thing that really stood out to me for this film. Oh, and by the way, LeBron James acting definitely was not one of them. So for the category watchability, we're going to go down a notch and give this a 1 for several reasons. One, because, well, it is a commercial to Warner Brothers. Every kind of ad or brand or character they have, they shove in there to say, hey, this is Warner Brothers. So they're basically making you watch a huge commercial. Not to mention there's a Nike plug in here as well. I mean, it's just so obnoxious. The very beginning of it is very obnoxious. They try to say, hey, LeBron James was this kid who was mistreated so much on the basketball court and how it relates to him as his father now. And they try to do that, but then it's a bait and switch into this, again, obnoxious, unwatchable montage, homage to LeBron James. It's ultimately repulsive. Not to mention, LeBron James doesn't hold the screen. He has no charisma. He's not Michael Jordan. He's trying to be Michael Jordan. He'll never be Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan runs circles around him in all kinds of categories. Not nearly as pretentious as LeBron James. It's just horrible. And that's the reason why this film is unwatchable. It's because of those reasons. The quality of the film, it's okay. I've seen worse kids' films, but they were watchable because they were cute and they had all that other stuff going for them. This absolutely does not. It was hard to get through this thing. It was 2 hours. 2 hours. So from an overall review of this film, score is going to be a 2. It's bad, guys. It's horrible. Again, for all the reasons that I mentioned before, it's horrible. But I'll talk about a little bit more of that and the redeeming value, which it does have one redeeming value in my conservative take. Okay, so this is the conservative take section, and I'm going to get into some spoilers. And this is probably where the film actually shines. I can't recommend the film, but it does shine in these areas, and I got to give it credit where credit's due. And that's this. The relationship between LeBron James and his son, even though it's not very believable, because you don't really believe LeBron James even cares about his son, not because he couldn't, but because his acting ability is horrible. So it doesn't actually, he's such a bad actor, you can't even get there in terms of him liking his son. It seems weird, but when you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'll give it that. Assuming that I can get past that, the film does talk about a father's love for his son, how he needs to be a father, not a friend, how he needs to listen to his son, be there for his son. And LeBron talks about hard work and not quitting. And that is a good, strong part of it. And the reason why I say this is something that the left doesn't want you to know about, and what I don't think LeBron James probably even thought about when he talks about his rhetoric all the time about doxing cops and talking about the police and hunting down black people at night. We mentioned this many, many times on the channel. Is the fact that it's the black fatherlessness of this country that's causing a lot of these problems. Even Obama said the same thing, that black fatherlessness is a major problem in this country and it's not being addressed. So suddenly it's being laid out here in this film, but it will go over the heads of most people, and the left won't talk about it because for some reason they don't want to talk about black fatherlessness. They want to talk about other things, which I don't want to get demonetized for. So that's the thing. And that's the reason why I got to call this out and say, look, I applaud that aspect of it. And I don't think LeBron James is a bad person as a father, as a husband, or whatever. It's just that his rhetoric and his platform is so large, he can do a numerous amount of damage by his words and by his tweets. Not to mention his insecurity in trying to be the best of all time when it's clearly he's just not. And him trying to be Jordan, it's just embarrassing across the board. Taking his number and this and that, which that's kind of petty, I get. But it all flows into the same thing that he tries to do over and over again, trying to be Jordan and trying to push him being the greatest player of all time down your throats and being insecure about just about everything and attention hogging everywhere he tries to be. Sometimes it's good to understate things and let people at least, talk about you from that aspect than having to react to you telling them I'm the best of all time. Jordan never did that, so maybe he could take a lesson from that. So for my final rating of Space Jam 2 is going to be a 3.75, which translates to 1 star. And for my conservative take, I'm going to say go with caution because there is some wokeness in there as well. Not a lot, but there's enough in there. And plus there's some hypocritical things in there too that I didn't mention, that let's see if you catch those when you see it. It involves Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam. When you see it, you know what I'm talking about. Comment below if you want to chime in on that one. I'd be curious to know your thoughts on that one. And so, yeah, so Space Jam 3.75, 1 star, go with caution, or I just recommend, in terms of conservative take that is, our recommendation is stay away from this film as far as possible. Save your money, save your brain cells. But the important thing to know is, what do you think? Do you plan on seeing Space Jam 2, or have you already braved it and checked it out for yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Did you like it? Am I overreacting? Did you enjoy it? That's really the most important thing, because movies really are subjective. But in this case, I'd just be really curious to find someone who actually liked this film. Also, what do you think about my conservative take commentary there about LeBron James and the theme and its one redeeming value? Again, let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to know what you think. And if you like what we do in this channel, we take pop culture and politics and filter to you in a conservative manner. In other words, we filter to you right. And please click the like and subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. And there's a join button there if you want to click that to help this channel out. You can find out how to do that. And also, if you want to find out more videos, we have some picked up for you right